Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dvema bhikkave nibbana dhatuyo katama dve. Saupadisesāca nibbana dhatu anupadisesāca nibbana dhatu ti. So let me share the screen. Share. Okay, hope you can see the Pali text as well as the English translation.
Yes, Sanjay.
Okay, fine. So this is a sutta coming in the Kuddaka Nikaya Iti Uttaka Pali. So Iti Uttaka Pali. It was said by the Buddha. It was said by the Buddha. So this is the repeated term we come across in the Iti Uttaka Pali. Iti Uttaka Pali is a fairly ancient book. It is believed that the real Buddha's words are there. Venerable Ananda has mentioned that I have heard like this. I have the Buddha has said. The Buddha has said. So likewise, different occasions what Buddha has mentioned, when Ananda recall, and then during the first council, Sanghayana, so it was mentioned. So short discourses are there in this Iti Uttaka Pali, and the sutta what I have selected today is called Nibbana Dhatu Sutta. So the Nibbana element. And Buddha mentioned like this. Dvema bhikkave Nibbana dhatuyo. Monks, there are two categories or two types of Nibbana elements. Katame dve. What are those two? Saupadisesāca Nibbana dhatu, anupadisesāca Nibbana dhatu. So Saupadisesa Nibbana. So that means a Nibbana element with a residue. There's a residue, Nibbana element. And the other one, Anupadisesāca Nibbana dhatu, Nibbana element without any residue. So these are the two categories Buddha mentioned about the two Nibbana dhatu. Then the explanation going on, Katamaca bhikkave saupadisesa Nibbana dhatu. Monks, what is the Nibbana element with residue? Idda bhikkave bhikkhu arahang hoti kīnāsavo usitava kata karaniyo ohita bharo anupatta sadatto parikkina bhava sanyojano sammadanya vimutto. Now this is a phrase commonly used to explain about the sublime qualities of the Arahant. So in this Buddha Sasana, Arahang hoti. So there is an Arahant, there is a fully enlightened being. Now explanation comes about his qualities, some sublime qualities. Kīnāsavo. He is the one who is completely destroyed the taints. So different taints are there. So we discussed different taints previously. So asavas. Sometimes we call it as influxes. So asavas, kāmasava, bhavasava, avijjasava. Sometimes we include ditthasava as well. But ditthasava can be considered which is included in the avijjasava. So in general we tell there are three asavas, three taints. Kāmasava, the taint of sensual desire. Bhavasava, the taint of being. Then the avijjasava, the taint of ignorance. So these are the three different types of taints. And Arahant is the one who was able to completely abandon them. There may be other nobles, but they still have taints. But when one becomes fully enlightened, his taints are completely abandoned, completely destroyed. That's the term kīnāsava. All the taints are destroyed. Kīnāsavo. Then usitava. Usitava means that his holy life, that means the monk's life, he has fulfilled. So he entered the sasana, he has become a monk to attain enlightenment. Now the job is done. So he has fulfilled it. So usitava. Kata karaniyo. Who has done what had to be done. Now we know that typically we can say Sila Samadhi Panya is the task we need to fulfill. So he has completed the Sila, he has completed the Samadhi, he has completed the Panya. So basically, so he is the one completed the task, completed the training. So therefore sometimes we use the term aseka, where there is nothing to further restrain. He is fully restrained now. His mind is fully restrained. As a result of that, his body, his speech, his mind, totally restrained. Kata karaniyo. Ohita baharo. He is the one who has laid down the burden. So here the burden can be considered from different angles. One can say the burden of the 5 aggregates. Typically 5 aggregates are being clung to, and therefore we call them as clinging aggregates, upadana khanda. Now the Arahant is the one who completely put them down, laid them down. He is not holding them, he is not attaching to them, he is not grasping them, no more upadana. So therefore we can safely say, so the 5 clinging aggregates are no more clung to. So he is no more clinging to the 5 aggregates. So the burden of the aggregates are no more there for him. Aggregates are kept aside. He is not grasping to them at all. On the other hand, we can say all different kinds of defilements he has laid them down. So no defilements are available in his mind. So therefore that weight is also not there. On the other hand, we can say the 3 poisons, raga, dosa, moha, akusala moola, loba, akusala moola, dosa, akusala moola, moha, akusala moola. All these things are kept aside. All these things are abandoned. And in other terms, we can say, so previously we were identifying ourselves as a person, as an individual, but now there is no such thing. So as a result of that, his mind is further relaxed, further say lighter. So that burden, the personality burden, the selfhood, we perceive as a self, we perceive as an individual. So that burden also kept aside. So different way we can give different meanings to Ohita Baharo. And in general we can simply say, so the burden of the 5 clinging aggregates are now kept aside. Then Anupatta Sadattu. That means he is able to attain the goal systematically. He had a goal and he was able to complete that goal, fulfill that goal. Parikkina Bhava Sangyojano. So different kinds of fetters of continuation of this existence is now completely abandoned. Now you know that this is not our first life. So we were wandering in this samsara for long period of time. And till the fetters are there, till the taints are there, we'll continue to wander. It is not a person wandering, but we can simply say it is the avidya and tanha. The ignorance and the craving are the ones wandering. So this continuation happens for long time. Now, in one way we can simply say that happens because of the aparikkena bhava sangyojana. So the bhava sangyojana. So the fetters or bonds that we are bound to the samsara is not abandoned. So they are there. So the sangyojanas are there, the fetters are there, so they are binding us to the samsara, to the hell realm, to the human realm, to the celestial realms, to the Brahma realms. So we are unable to penetrate them, we are unable to escape from those different realms. So these are the sangyojana, these are the fetters. There are fetters which are binding us to the lower realms. Typically we call them as the Orambhagya Sangyojana, the lower fetters. And there are Sangyojanas, fetters, which are causing some kind of binding to the upper realms, what we call as the Uddham Bhagya Samyojana. So all these fetters are binding us. All these fetters are kind of attaching us, engaging us to the continuation of samsara. So in general we call them as the Bhava Samyojana. And these Bhava Samyojanas are now completely abandoned by the Arahant. Parikkina Bhava Samyojano. Then Samma Danya Vimuttu. So he has fully understood. He got the final knowledge, and as a result of that his mind is completely released. He is fully emancipated. He is fully liberated as a result of this final knowledge. So sometimes we coin them as Vijja and Vimutti. So the understanding is there, the knowledge is there, Vipassana knowledge is there. Whenever the Vipassana knowledge is there, it naturally makes the mind completely release. Vijja and Vimutti go hand in hand. So this type of Vimutti or this type of Panya, this type of wisdom is liberating type of wisdom. It is not a kind of a knowledge that we acquire at a university by going through a degree program, and then we identify ourselves further and we highlight ourselves and we sometimes become proud. So that is not the kind of knowledge we are talking here. Here the knowledge is completely a liberating knowledge. When one has such wisdom, such knowledge, it is liberating. So this Arahant is having that. So Samma Danya Imuttu. So he fully understood the path, he fulfilled the path, he has gained the knowledge, so his mind is liberated. So Tassa Tittanteva Panchindriyani Yesang Avigha Manapamanapang Pachanu Bhoti. Now Buddha mentioned, now when this Arahant, whatever this yogi becomes an Arahant, when he attains fully enlightenment, so his Panchindriya, that means the bodily faculties, eye faculty, ear faculty, nose faculty, tongue faculty and the body faculty. These 5 faculties are still available. He is not dying. So when he abandons all the fetters, when he is able to fulfill the Buddha Sasana, so he is able to all abandon the defilements, cut off all the fetters, still he is living. His body is fully functional and he is functioning, and so eye faculty is still working, ear faculty is still working, nose faculty is still working, tongue faculty is still working, body faculty is still working. So the 5 faculties are still working, they are intact. So therefore these faculties actually represent the 5 khandhas. 5 aggregates are still functioning. But the interesting thing is he is no more grasping them. Faculties are still functioning, the aggregates are still functioning, but now no grasping. So Panchindriyani Yesang Avigatatta, as a result of that Manapanapang Pachanubhoti. So assume that through eyes he may see a fire. Through eyes he may see some kind of a calamity. Maybe a disaster. Maybe a say whirlpool. Maybe a tornado. Maybe some kind of a natural disaster. Now that may be a little distressing. His mind is not distressing, but still the side or this particular site is quite distressing. So he may get certain impact. Assume that there's a bomb blast. Now he get a kind of real sound which is really thundering, and he has to go through that impact. Similarly the tongue, similarly the body, similarly the nose. So all these different faculties, since they are functioning, since they are living, so the impact coming through them he has to go through. So he still experiences what is agreeable and what is disagreeable, and feels pleasure and pain. So feels pleasure and pain. But the interesting thing is he is not attached to anything, but the natural pleasure pain still happens. He assumes that his body gets sick. As a result of that, he go through some kind of a bodily pain. And we can understand that how Buddha himself has gone through certain sicknesses. And there are occasions where Buddha was delivering a Dhamma sermon, and he immediately asked Venerable Ananda, please continue the Dhamma sermon. I need to take a rest because I have a severe back pain. So Buddha take a rest and Venerable Ananda continues. So such occasions are recorded in the suttas, and that indicates that the Buddha himself has subjected to this kind of a bodily pain. And probably you can remember several suttas like the Bojjhanga Sutta. Venerable Maha Kassapa was severely sick, and Buddha approached him and he is asking, Kacchite Kassapa Kamaniyang, Kacchi Yapaniyang, Kacchi Dukkha Vedana, Patikkamanti no Abhikkamanti, Patikkamosanam Panyayati no Abhikkamoti. So Buddha is asking, how are you doing, Venerable Kassapa? Are you feeling well? Do you think that the sickness is becoming cured, or sickness is increasing, becoming serious? Are you feeling well, or are you getting well? So Buddha is asking, and Venerable Kassapa is answering accordingly. He says, Bante, name bante kamaniyang, na yapaniyang, balha me dukkha vedana, abhikkamanti no patikkamanti, abhikkamosanam panyayati no patikkamoti. No, Bante, I am not feeling well. So this bodily sickness is getting worse. I am really feeling painful impact. So he is saying as it is. So same thing we can see by Venerable Maha Moggallana. In the Moggallana Bojjhanga Thero, Moggallana Bojjhanga Sutta, there Venerable Moggallana also answered the same way once Buddha inquired about his bodily sickness. So likewise we can see even these foremost arahants have gone through various sicknesses because the body is still living, the five faculties are still functioning. So as a result of that, sukha dukkhang patisangvedeti. So pleasure and pain they have to feel, they have to go through. Tassayo ragakkayo, dosakkayo, mohakkayo, ayang uchchati bhikkhave saupadisesa nibbana dhatu. It is the extinction of attachment, hate and delusion in him that is called the Nibbana element with residue left. So he is still the Arahant, even though he has to go through some bodily sickness, bodily suffering, still he is an Arahant because the fetters are not there, the asavas are not there, the influxes are not there. So same thing actually we can go to what you call the Chula Sunyata Sutta. So let me get that also. In Chula Sunyata Sutta there's another interesting explanation Buddha gives, and there Buddha particularly mentioned about how an Arahant, so after he attain arahantship, once all the fetters are abandoned, asavas are abandoned, so what is the state? So this is a very interesting and very important passage in the Chula Sunyata Sutta. So let me take it. So here, this part, animittan ceto samadhim paticca manasikaroti ekattang tassa animitte ceto samadhim hi cittang pakkhandati pasidati santittati adimucchati. Now there's a yogi who was practicing animitta, the signless concentration, and he is using it to abandon various defilements. Now, as a result of continuous practice, so his asavas are now totally abandoned. Now here, tassa evam janato, evam passato, kamasavapi cittang vimucchati, bhavasavapi cittang vimucchati, avijjasavapi cittang vimucchati. So you can see as a result of the practice. So in this Chulasunyata Sutta, Buddha mentioned the kamasava is abandoned. The taint of sensual desire. Then bhavasavapi cittang vimucchati, the taint of being. Then avijjasavapi cittang vimucchati, the taint of ignorance, all are abandoned. So the three asavas are fully abandoned. Fully abandoned. Now, interestingly, vimuttasming vimuttamiti jnanam hoti. Now, when all these asavas are fully abandoned, he very well know it. So this is an important thing. Probably you can remember the last sutta we discussed, the Vasi Jatopama Sutta. There Buddha giving various similes. He explained us how a arahant could know when the all influxes, all taints are fully abandoned. So the influxes are abandoned, so the arahant can know that. So he know like that when an axe handle is completely worn out, so he very well know I can't use this axe anymore. So likewise he understand, okay, the asavas are fully abandoned. Vimuttasming vimuttamiti jnanam hoti. Kina jati usitang brahmacharyang katang karaniyang naparang ittattayati pajanati. So he mentioned, so the birth is abandoned, now no more birth. Kina jati usitang brahmacharyang, I have fully completed the holy life. Katang karaniyang, whatever the task to be done, I have completed that, fully handled it. Na aparang ittattayati pajanati. I won't come to another being, another kind of a life. Now, so evam pajanati. Now Buddha gives a fairly good explanation here. That's what I want to refer about the situation, about this saupadisesa nibbana dhatu. So here Buddha mentioned, ye asudarata kamasavam paticca te idhana santi. So if there is any kind of disturbance which is happening or dependent on the taint of kamasava, taint of sensual desire, now in this arahant that is not there. Ye asudarata bhavasavam paticca te idhana santi. If there is any kind of a disturbance happening because of the bhavasava, the taint of being, that is also not with him. Ye asudarata avijjasavam paticca te idhana santi. So if there is any kind of a disturbance, any agitation happens because of the avijjasava, the taint of ignorance, that is also not there. Now to get some idea, some practical idea, now we all with the fetters, we can see how the mind being again and again pulled to various desires. Say for example, whenever you feel little bored, so your mind being pulled to look at something. Say you are pulled to look at maybe YouTube, your mind is pulled to look at Facebook, your mind is pulled to look at a movie, a cricket match. So likewise, our sensual desires are pulling our mind. So they are in a way kind of torturing the mind. Constantly different desires are coming and trying to grab our attention, and again they are pulling our attention. So it's a kind of a burden. So you can't simply sit, you can't simply rest. So mind get agitated because of this restless nature. Different kinds of desires are again and again pulling the mind, disturbing the mind, torturing the mind. So particularly because of this kamasava. So the taint of sensual desire. So whenever the eye faculty see a particular sight, it can trigger the mind to have some lustful thoughts, desirous thoughts. So then you get agitated, you want it, you become anxious, you want to possess it, you want to claim it. All these things are there because the desires are now overwhelming, torturing. Similarly, the beautiful sights, beautiful sounds, whenever such sound is there, so you feel attached, you feel attracted, you want to get closer, you want to listen to it, you want to write it, you want to remember it, you want to find the lyrics. So likewise, different kinds of agitations can happen in the mind. So the serenity which was in the mind, the calmness, the tranquility, the silence which was available in the mind is no more available. You will have lost that. Again, an agitated mind is there. Again, kind of excited mind is there. So likewise, we can see all different kinds of sensual desires are in a way agitating the mind, making the mind quite anxious, fairly burdened, fairly in a way kind of tortured. So it happens by sight, sounds, smells, taste, tangibles. Now, on the other hand, bhavasava, so we want to continue our life further and further, and we perceive ourselves as an individual, as a person. So this person, this so-called individual, has to live for long time. I don't want to die. So with the expense of something else also you want to live, and there's a quite struggle to live comfortably. It's a kind of a competition. And this fetter of bhavasava, the taint of bhavasava, is always dragging us towards even future lives. Even this body dies here, I don't want to die, I still want to live. Based on my desires, based on my karma, another life being offered. So we grasp that and we continue again that. So when that passes away, still I want to live. And so another life is presented. So likewise, it may be a human form, it may be an animal form, it may be a celestial form. Different kinds of forms are there in this samsara, in this existence. So we are existing, we are continuing as different beings. So when we are existing like that, continuous impacts, influences, disturbances are happening through the faculties. You have to see some agreeable, disagreeable sights. You have to hear agreeable and disagreeable sounds. You have to smell agreeable and disagreeable smells. You have to taste agreeable and disagreeable tastes. And you have to experience agreeable and disagreeable tangibles. So that is inevitable. You have to go through all that kind of a suffering. So this bhavasava related suffering is no more with the Arahant. So he still has suffering, but we'll come to that later. But mentally, there is no need for existence. There is no kind of a longing for existence. I want to win, I want to exist, I want to live, I want to defeat the others. There is no such kind of an agitation in the Arahant's mind. Then whatever the asudarata avijjasavam paticca te idana santi. So any kind of a disturbance, any kind of a agitation happens because of the avijjasava, the taint of ignorance, that is also not with him. So typically we perceive ourselves as an individual, as a person, as myself. So that is a huge burden. Whenever we feel like that, that means whenever eye-making happens, mind-making happens, it's a huge burden to the mind. So you feel distressed, you feel attached, you feel burdened, you feel unsatisfied, you feel frustrated. Now all that actually underneath issue is the ignorance. But for the Arahant, that is also not there. So he has completely dispelled the conceit I am. Asmimana is fully abandoned. So as a result of that, he is simply functioning since the body is living, but mentally there is no suffering at all. And in this Chulasanjata Sutta, Buddha categorically mentioned the last one, where Atti Cheva Ayang Dharatamatta Yadidang Imameva Kayang Paticca Salayatanikang Jivita Pacchayati. So this is the important thing. Atti Cheva Ayang Dharatamatta Yadidang Imameva Kayang Paticca Salayatanikang Jivita Pacchayati. So Buddha mentioned, even though the torture, the disturbance of kamasava is not there, bhavasava is not there, avijjasava is not there, there is still present a kind of a disturbance, namely that connected with the six sense bases that are dependent on this body and conditioned by life. So he is still a living being. Living body is still available, so it has to go through its own destiny. It may get sick, it may get old, and it has to go through all the outside disturbances. As I mentioned, some dangerous sounds, maybe disturbing sounds, some bad smells, say some difficult taste, maybe tangibles, all these things are there. He has to bear all that because he has attained Nibbana, but still sopadisesa Nibbana. So the body still remain, the five faculties are still functioning, it's a living body, so there is a burden, there is a disturbance, there is an agitation because this is a conditioned phenomena he still have to bear. And actually this Chulasunyata Sutta further explain, so sunyamidang sanyagatang kamasavenati pajanati. So he further knows any kind of a sanya, any kind of name and form, any kind of signs, perceptions happening because of the karma, because of the sense desires. Now his mind is free of that. So for example, when you want to meditate, probably you remember your loved ones, maybe your husband, your mother, your wife, your daughter, your son, your mother, your father, whoever. So different loved ones may come to your mind. You may be participating to a retreat, but still different loved ones are again and again appearing in your mind. So these are in a way the signs, different sanya. So they are images. Rupa sanya may be popping up in the mind. So you attribute it to that particular person, and again you start thinking about them, and you proliferate about them, again get agitated, again become anxious. All these things are there. But the interesting thing with the Arahant is his mind is very clean, very pure. So those sensuality based sanya are no more there. Similarly, Buddha mentioned Sanyagatam bhavesanati pajanati sunyamidam. So all the bhavasava related sanya are not there. His mind is empty. Sunyamidam sanyagatam avijja savenati pajanati. And he very well know all the avijja related, ignorance related sanya is not there. The mind is empty. But atti cheva idang asunyatang yadidang imameva kayam paticca salayatanikang jivita pacchati. But the certain amount of agitation is still present, which is happening because of the functioning faculties, functioning body, living body. So you can see the nature of the Nibbana Dhatu, nature of the Nibbana, which is still with a living body, still with a functioning body. So that is called the what we call the sopadisesa Nibbana Dhatu. Now we can go to the other side. Now similarly Buddha explained, Yepi hi kechi ananda atita madhanang. Sorry, no, that is not the part. So that is different. Give me a second. Okay, now Buddha is going to explain the other side. Katamacha bhikkhave anupadisesa nibbana dhatu. Anupadisesa nibbana. Without residue. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu arahang hoti kinaso usitava kata karaniyo ohita bharo anupatta sadatto parikkina bhava sangyojano sammadanya imutto. The same explanation as we already discussed with the previous case with the sopadisesa nibbana, the same explanation. Now here Buddha repeats. So he is an arahant, he is fully abandoned the influxes, the taints, and he has fulfilled the holy life, and whatever the tasks need to be done, he has completed that, fulfilled that. Ohita Baharo, he has laid down the burden. Anupatta Sadatto, he has arrived the goal. Parikkina Baba Sangyojano, and he was able to fully abandon the binding fetters, destroyed the fetters of being. And Sammadanya Imutto, his mind is fully liberated by acquiring the proper knowledge. Now, Tassa ideva bhikkave sabba vedaitani anabhinanditani siti bhavisanti. Now, that is during the death moment, still there may be various different kinds of feelings. So, now we are talking about the death moment of an Arahant. Still he may be going through certain feelings, but the interesting thing is, Sabba Vedaitani Anabhinanditani. All these different feelings he is not clinging to, he is not attaching to, and he is not delighted with them. So, interesting thing is, for him here in this very life, all that is experienced, not being delighted in, will be extinguished. So, whatever the feeling coming and they are going, they are disappearing because they simply arise and pass away. So, all what he experienced is fully ceased because he is not holding to any of them. He is not motivating them. He is not promoting them. He is not strengthening them. So they arise, they pass away. They arise, they pass away. And there is no his contribution. There is no his kind of an interference. So they simply arise, they simply pass away. Ultimately, everything pass away. So because his life is coming to the end, the life faculty is now coming to the edge. Body is almost like getting ready to the death. So we are talking about the death moment. So all the different kinds of feelings, agreeable or disagreeable, all he is not delighted with it. He is not attached to anything. So all are coming and going. Ayangucchati bhikkave anupadisesa Nibbana Dhatu. So once he finally passed away, so he simply said, attain the anupadisesa parinibbana dhatu. No more continuation of the 5 aggregates. All 5 aggregates are now fully abandoned, including the 5 faculties: eye faculty, ear faculty, nose faculty, tongue faculty, body faculty. That also passed away. They are also not now functioning. Now the burden of the aggregates are no more. He is fully attained the Nibbana. Now last time I think we discussed about the fire simile in the Aggivacchagotta Sutta. So there the interesting thing. So Buddha mentioned with a very beautiful simile. It's very much like a fire being extinguished. So there were different kinds of fuel which was helping for the fire to continue. So in a particular instance, if we abandon those fuels, we take out all these fuels, firewood, etc., then the fire can't continue because the fuel is not there. Ultimately, fire will completely extinguish. So when the fire is extinguished, so we can't say that fire has gone to the north direction, west direction, east direction, south direction. So it's an invalid question. It's an inappropriate question. We can simply say the fire has extinguished because there is no more fuel. The fuel is not there, so it can't continue, so it is extinguished. So talking about a direction where it has gone is a completely useless kind of a meaningless kind of a question. So similarly, with the Arahant case, so the aggregates were there. So before he became an Arahant, see, he was again and again clung to them, attaching to them, grasping them. So as a result of that, he had to continue in this samsara again and again. he has to go through the rebirth cycle. But when the upadana is not there, still the 5 aggregates are functioning till he live. But all the upadana is not there, but still the functioning body is available. Aggregates are still continuing without grasping. So we can call it as the Sopadisesa Nibbana Dhatu. And at the end, the 5 aggregates also stops because whatever the fuel which is required for it to function is not available. It is completely abandoned, completely ceased. Now the complete cessation is there. So I like to give a kind of a simile based on today's terms. It's very much like, say we are driving a vehicle, and when we are driving a vehicle, suppose in the middle of the road, say we lost all our fuel, we ran out of petrol, but we were running maybe say 80 kilometers per hour. Now what happened? The meter indicates, okay, you have no fuel, but still the vehicle may be moving because we were having some momentum, we were functioning, we were running at say 80 kilometers per hour. Even though there is no fuel, still the car may be moving, but it is destined to stop because there is no fuel. The old aggregates are still functioning without the support of the fuel. Now what happened? Ultimately the vehicle stopped because there is no support or there is no cause for the continuation. So necessary fuel is not being supplied, so ultimately the vehicle stopped. So same thing here, the aggregates were again and again clung to, grasped it. As a result of that, we were going through the rebirth cycle. But when one becomes an arahant, so that whatever the clinging is completely abandoned, no more clinging. But the momentum still carrying forward the body. So he has to still go through some agreeable and disagreeable feelings. Because still the body is functioning. This body is actually a result of the past karma. So past clinging. You can simply say it is a function or rather a result of the past clinging. Even though currently he is not clinging, it still continues because of the past momentum, but it is destined to stop. Finally attain the complete cessation, anupadisesa parinibbana dhatu. And in this Sutta, Buddha summarized the whole thing with the verse Dveima Chakkumata. Let me recite the Pali. Dve ima chakkumata pakasita nibbana dhatu anisitena tadina ekahi dhatu idha ditta dhammika saupadisesa bhavanetti sankhaya anupadisesa pana samparayika yanghi nirujjanti bhavani sabbasu ye eta danyaya padang asankhatan vimuccita bhavanetti sankhaya te dhamma saradigama khaye rata pahansu te sabba bhavani tadinoti. So it is translated by, I think this is Dr. Bhikkhu Bodhi, I think I.D. Horner. These two Nibbana elements were made known by the seeing one, the Buddha, stable and unattached. One is the element seen here and now with residue, but with the cord of being destroyed. The other, having no residue for the future, is that wherein all modes of being utterly cease. Having understood the unconditioned state, released in mind, with the cord of being destroyed, they have attained to the Dhamma essence. Delighting in the destruction of craving, those stable ones have abandoned all being. So this is a very interesting way that the Sutta summarized the whole description. And with that I will conclude today's Sutta teaching session. Now I like to open the session for questions. all attain Nibbana, no sounds.
Looks like everyone is still
reflecting. All are reflecting about the Nibbana. Interesting.
Okay. Pratika.
Yeah.
Looks like she's out of Nibbana.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Bante.
Yeah.
And I have a question. It is because I'm not understanding something, so I want you to correct my understanding. So I was thinking that asavas were the, or in English I have seen this definition, that they are the residual effect of unwholesome clinging or unwholesome actions of deed, speech or thought in this long samsaric journey that have fermented and come with being brought forward, right?
Right.
And now see that Kinasura, one who is the one, or the Buddha, it's called Kinasura, one who is free of asavas. I would have thought that if the effect of all the unwholesome has been extinguished, then there should be no effects of past karma. But the Buddha had 12 effects of past karma. Mahamoggallana had the effects of past karma of killing his parents and died of that kind of a terrible death with robbers. And all this pain that Mahamoggallana and Mahakachana went through seems to indicate that some kind of effect of a past karma has flown through. But I thought that when one became an arahant, that somehow the asavas are all eradicated, all eliminated, or if there is something, it becomes ahosi. So I'm confused because there are two contradictory things here.
No, actually,
there is the effect of some kind of past karma for the Buddha and Mahamoggallana, but that was not categorized as asava.
No, those are, that is the kamma. Yeah, that is the kamma. So there are different types of kamma that the potential
that's a
is
very
there.
great one. But Mahamoggallana, killing parents is the one that never will get big ahosi, right? Is that right?
So different kinds of kamma is there. The idea is when one becomes, say for example, if we go from the beginning, so what we do is when we are getting the impact of old kamma, we further react and we further act, we further react and we further accumulate karma. So that is the typical worldly beings. So what they do is whenever there are situations, whenever they conduct actions, either bodily, verbally, mentally, they further accumulate karma because they function as someone, some individual, and further accumulation, further strengthening, enforcement of karma is there. So that is one thing that we need to understand. But when one attains Sotapanna, so his old karma, which had the potential to take him to the hell realm, is totally abandoned. So that karma is ceased now. So he might have done some past karma which might cause him to even had the potential to take him to a hell realm. But once he attains Sotapanna, so that karma has completely ceased. And on the other hand, any other karma which had the potential to take him to the hell realm is also abandoned. Now the other thing is that he no more able to conduct strong karma which will take new old karma which is capable of taking him to the hell realm, and whatever the continuation of karma is only capable of taking him maximum to the 7 lifetimes. So that is the definition we are taught, right? And we assume we talk about the arahant. So whatever the karma he has done previously, which has the potential to take him to the hell realm, also abandoned. Taking to the human realm, still abandoned. All different karma which had the potential to give him a rebirth is fully abandoned, but still the body is still living. So the certain past karma still have the potential to give him results during this life, so that he has to go through to some extent.
Thank you very much. So the karma that has been ahosi is the karma, bhava, and the ditthi karma that is a potential for rebecoming. That part has been eliminated.
Correct.
It's an arahant.
Yeah.
But what is felt is that still a residual part of karma, but it is not one that will take him to another birth.
Correct.
But it is one that will cause him a certain amount of distress or pain, like the pain that Mahamoggallana went through when the robbers battered him to death.
Yeah.
And even the pain the Buddha felt at the point of death, he asked for the bojjhanga to be told because of the bleeding and the dysentery or the stomach problems and the pain. So that is the better way of my understanding now. Thank you very much. What we have ahosi is only the rebirth portion of those into these realms.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we can say so. And he is also not generating new karma. That's another very, very important thing.
Yes, the arahant is not generating any new karma.
Right. Yes.
But any old karma that is not extinguished and not could take place in this birth, but it's not a re-becoming karma. That's the part that has been ahosi, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's why the Buddha felt 12. It's not a re-becoming karma, but he felt 12
incidents,
pain because his body was alive for 35 years.
Correct.
After becoming a Buddha.
45.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. 45 years.
That's much better clarification. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thero Sannai.
Yeah, Thero Sannai.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Laura. Oh, sorry.
So it disappeared.
Hi, Laura. Are you able to unmute? Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for the discussion today, Bhante.
Yep.
It was very refreshing to hear how the differentiation between the process of the body, which still continues even after you reach Nibbana. And the two during our lifetime are combined together, and you can't sometimes see the difference between, like when you're having illness, the pain between the body and the pain of the mind, because they're so associated with each other.
Correct.
But the fact that the Buddha doesn't have the mind suffering, because we want to be Buddhas ourselves, I guess we can practice more when we are having suffering, not to proliferate and identify with the body too much.
Correct.
So that was really good to hear. I'm wondering, when something's unpleasant and you're suffering, you can see it, but when you're in pleasant and you're attaching, so the Buddha didn't attach to pleasant things as well. Because it's not a negative quality, it's harder to see the attachment to the pleasant things. So how would you do that as a practice to make sure that you don't cling too much to the pleasant things?
No, I think that is the result of the Vedananupassana particularly. Now, say for example, in the Kayanupassana, say simply we are practicing Anapanasati. Say what we do is when in-breath happens, we simply keep the in-breath as it is, and we are not attached to in-breath. Simply when out-breath happens, we simply observe the out-breath. We are not attached to out-breath, and we don't want to manipulate it, we don't want to control it, we don't want to influence it at all. allowing the body to naturally breathe, and we simply experience in-breath as it is. So how about applying the same principle for different feelings? So in the Vedananupassana, that is the practice. So when the pleasurable feeling happens, so we simply allow it to happen. We are not putting our own stuff into it. So our desires, our kind of attachments, our judgments, none of them are supposed to include into the feeling. Rather, we have to observe pleasurable feeling as a mere pleasurable feeling. Similarly, whenever painful feeling happens, previously we don't like it, we hate it, and we want to get rid of it. We were quite impatient about it. But now, the yogi is supposed to look at it patiently, without getting attached to it, without getting repulsed by it, without being impatient, simply with a fairly unattached, dispassionate mind, he is supposed to look at even the painful feeling. So this is the setup that we are supposed to train ourselves during the Vedananupassana. So this training has to build in a way. We have to continue. So as a result of that, now the yogi comes to a state where whenever there is a pleasurable feeling, he is not elated. He doesn't want to really grasp it. He is maintaining kind of an unattached, equanimous type of state of mind. So the pleasurable feeling is a mere pleasurable feeling. Similarly, a painful feeling is also a mere painful feeling. So it is entirely based on one's practice, one's training, where ultimately he come to a level, so he become equanimous irrespective of the type of the feeling. So this is the kind of a goal that we need to expect. So typical tendency is to attach to pleasant feelings, as you mentioned. Tendency is to kind of distract ourselves, repel ourselves from the painful feelings, try to get rid of it. But that tendency is slowly abandoned as a result of the practice.
So is it during the practice only you try to do that, or do you try to do that in your normal life as well?
Definitely. So you have to, once you are quite familiar with the practice, you have to take it to the typical day-to-day activities as well. So it is not that we limit our practice only to the cushion. Rather, once we gain that capacity, once we develop that skill, so that has to be further strengthened, further expanded to each and every moment. Whenever we are possible, whenever we are mindful, the same thing we have to apply.
So is it first to understand whether you're experiencing a painful or pleasant or unpleasant feeling?
Definitely.
Sometimes you're not even aware
at the
feeling you're having.
No, yes. So at the beginning, so that is the distinction. Okay, this is a painful feeling, this is a pleasurable feeling, this is a equanimous feeling. So that distinction is something we are supposed to do. But later, the interesting thing is, so as you continue, when the mindfulness is growing, clear comprehension is growing, so you start recognizing, say, pleasurable feeling as a group of subtle or group of set pleasurable feelings. It's not a one unique pleasurable feeling which lasts for a long time. Rather, it's a group of pleasurable feelings. They are quite transient, they are kind of momentary, they don't have long lifespan, they quickly come and pass away, and they are functioning as a group. So this is the kind of a picture one would get. So then slowly you feel dispassionate, you feel that they are quite transient, and there may be even a stage you can't distinguish whether it is a pleasurable feeling or painful feeling or equanimous feeling, because it's very much like a flux now. All are appearing and disappearing, but you can't decide whether it is a pleasurable feeling or painful feeling, because they simply are mere feeling, something like that.
Thank you so much. That's very clear.
Yep.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. We have another question from Gita.
Right.
Thank you. Bhante, my question is about my difficulties with the Satipatthana Sutta, the practice of Satipatthana. I find that I might start with awareness of body, with the breathing. But very soon the mind has gone to some other thing, caught attention of some other thing. And so then I'm aware, after a little while I can see there's thinking. Then it jumps to the overall, okay, this is unwholesome thinking, unwholesome illness. Then it jumps to the feeling, which is, this is an unpleasant feeling. And they stay with the feeling for a while, and quite often the feeling will disappear. Or it might generate a whole story about why is that feeling there, a sort of an intellectual analysis, and then I say, no, just be with the feeling. So there is this movement between, it's like I can't stay with one satipatthana, I'm jumping around.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
from one to the other.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, navigating from one to the other is quite all right, but you need to stop that proliferation part. You are adding stuff. Why is it? No, I mean, it is. I mean, if you are simply getting the kind of inquiring attitude that why is it there, what is the cause of it, that is also not a bad thing. Where you are promoting some kind of a wise inquiry, yoniso manasikara, that is also not something to be abandoned. But it has to be fairly quiet. It is not something you are thinking and, imagining things. Rather, it has to be a silent inquiry as much as possible. But moving from one area to the other area is fine.
Right, okay. Alright, because I had the impression that if you start with Kayanupassana, then you have to keep bringing the mind back to that.
Not necessarily. I mean, say you may spend some time there, but mind probably, if it wants to shift towards the Vedananupassana related stuff, Chittanupassana related stuff by itself, we don't need to stop it, because anyway we are within the Satipatthana. So the 4 areas are there for us to play, but still we are in the same ground. So we don't need to hinder the progress towards different Satipatthana, because still we are within our refuge in a way.
So as long as there is mindfulness or whatever, it is not a problem. It's when thoughts get lost in some proliferation, which happens, of course, that's where I have to then
exactly
the effort to
exactly
back to pure.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think we have spent fair amount of time, and there seems no more questions. I kindly invite Venerable Dhammosada to conduct the sharing of merits.
Sai Bhante.
Yeah.
All the merits we have accrued from listening and discussing the Dhamma today, we would like to extend them to our teachers, our relatives, our parents, all deities. May they rejoice in our merit making. May all celestial beings protect the Dhamma exposition and the Buddha Sasana for a long time. And may the seeds of Dhamma that we have received grow and produce path, fruition, and Nibbana. I invite everyone to join in the recitation of the traditional verses for the sharing of merits. Ittavata chammehi sambatam punya sampadam Sambe deva anumodantu samba sampatti siddhya Ittavata chammehi sambatam punya sampadam Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Ittavata chammehi sambatam punya sampadam Sabbe satta anumodantu samba sampatti siddhya Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanam Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanam Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mam parang. Idang no nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang no nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang go nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Ya, Thero Sannai.